Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we're doing another installment of the weekly meta breakdown where we look at the top performing decks on the MTG Arena ladder. This particular video will be for Explore format post the release of Brothers War. We're going to be covering both Explore Best of 1 and some Best of 3 decks in this particular video. If you're looking for Standard Best of 1, Best of 3, those videos are already put up this week, and we'll get to Historic later this week. Notably for the more eternal formats on Arena, Explore, Historic, they tend to take a couple more days, usually a week to 2 weeks, to kind of get more of an influx of the new cards kind of making an impact. They are new, like bigger formats, so the pool of cards is a lot larger, and we'll kind of see that for this week. So this video is the first 7 days of Brothers War, and it largely hasn't had too much of an impact on the format itself. We'll go over some of the best decks. These are the ones that folks are playing upwards of Platinum to Mythic Rank. If you want to have the best success of winning and ranking up, definitely check out these lists. We'll do these videos every week, so make sure to subscribe to the channel to get up to date the best decks each week and kind of evolve with me as we kind of go through the trend and analysis. So, like I said, November 15th to the 22nd, Platinum to Mythic Rank, 22,000 games, which you see on the screen of Best of 1. We're going to start with that. Top performing deck is Mono Blue Spirits with 66% win rate, and this is largely unchanged from the previous set. So you still have your Snow package, Faceless Haven, you're using your Spirit to kind of come into play at instant speed or have some kind of tricky tempo effects. Ascendant Spirit lets you hold up mana and then pump into it, eventually making it larger. The Mausoleum Wander can be used as a counterspell even though you are tapped out of mana. You have Spectral Sailor as a flash threat that draws you cards. Rattle Chains comes in at instant speed, protects stuff, and makes all your other spirits be able to be cast at flash speed. Shacklegeist to tap stuff down. Supreme Phantom as a Lord effect. This particular version is only running 6 counterspells, 2 Lofties, 4 Geist Snares. Geist Snare plays really well with the enchantments. You have Combat Research and Curious Obsession, just 6 ways to draw multiple cards per turn. Keep the cards flowing, and then a couple copies of Slip Out the Back as protection in this particular build. We then go to Mono Red Aggro. This is very similar to the list I got Mythic with this month. I went 28 and 12 with a variant. I was on 4 Ember Cleaves, 2 Torbrand, I believe. We can pull that up as well. And sorry, just to preface, I'll paste all these deck lists in the video description so you can easily take them in. The data is coming from UntapGG, which you see here. If you want to get access to a bunch of this data, tracking, stuff like that, the link is also in the video description. Forgot to mention that. But Mono Red Aggro, basically this is the Turbo Cleave version. So you're looking to go like 1 drop, multiple 2 drops, potentially Annex into Ember Cleave as early as possible. This allows you to race some of the combo decks in the format like Greecefang, which can turn 3 kill. Angels, that gives a lot of life. You can kind of just go over the top. Interestingly, this version's on the 4 Chain Whirlers. Chain Whirler is actually not a bad call. There's a lot of X1s that are potentially in the Spirits deck. So on curve, it allows you to hit it, as well as having the First Strike can be relevant in creature combat. It's also not terrible in the Mono Red Mirror. It also holds back a lot of the attackers from being able to attack in. It plays nicely with the Torbrand. If you have Torbrand out and you Chain Whirler, it deals 3 damage to each of your opponent's creatures. This version's on Phoenix Chick as an additional 1 drop with haste. Some of them were playing, and I can pull it up. I'm gonna go last period. Go to Mono Red. I play a lot of red decks. Get too far back. Too far back. Historic, Alchemy. Most played. There we go. So I was on very similar, the Annex 4 Bone Crushers. I was playing Ferocidon as a way to kind of I was running into a lot of Angels decks, so it helps edge out that matchup. Also decent as just pinging through multiple points. Menace comes up. So it's just kind of the consideration. Do you want to be on the Chain Whirler versus the Ferocidon plan? Bone Crusher has early removal as well. So it's kind of some tweaks that you can do along depending on what you're running into in terms of the meta. 24 lands is a must in this type of deck. This configuration is pretty decent. I'm pretty sure I was on the same 2 castles, 4 den, 4 ruins. Yeah, that seems to be the best way to kind of go about it. But you can see kind of the win rate, the distribution. Boros Heroic's kind of a problem in the Fires deck. the Boros Fires deck. Otherwise, like your other matchups, mono red's kind of 50-50 play draw, and then same with the Angels deck, but beating up on the decks you should be beating up on. We then go to Selesnia Angels. This deck's been fairly popular, but basically you're just getting a whole bunch of life. Bishop of Wings, Lunarch Veteran, Jada pumps up your team. You have Resplendent Angel here, which isn't showing up, but Resplendent Angel is a 3 mana, 3/3 Angel. If you gain 5 or more life for the turn, you get to create a 4/4 Angel with Vigilance. So this kind of lets you snowball out of control. If you can go like 1-drop, 2-drop into Resplendent, you get another Angel. Plays really nice with Righteous Valkyrie. Collect a Company finds you all these parts of the deck, and then a Johnny Strength of the Pride. The easiest upgrade you can make, and I highly recommend it. Drop these Sun Petal Groves. Play 4 of the Pain lands from Brothers War. They will help you to have untapped lands on turn 1. You only have 8 sources that can make this come into play untapped. This card is very bad in this deck because you usually want white on 1, and you oftentimes want to curve out, and it limits your ability. I would cut that all together from the deck and play 4 of the Pain lands. Nice and easy. We then go to 4-color Fires. So this is kind of a monstrosity of a deck that's kind of cool. Really kind of 5-color in a way, but 4-color if you kind of look at it squint. So the core of the deck, it's a Karuga deck first off. So all your cards have to be 3 CMC or more. The engine of the deck is Fires of Invention. It's actually 4 mana, but for some reason it's showing the Alchemy version. You can cast 2 spells per turn. You can only cast spells in your turn. You don't have to pay their mana cost. So how do we get around Karuga? Well, Bone Crusher Giant's Stomp ability is 2 mana. Leyline Binding can cost as little as 1 because we're playing all these dual lands that come into play. You have Colossal Sky Turtle, which can be used for channel abilities. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Then you got Fable the Mirror Breaker to kind of get you ahead. Some copy effects. Copying Cavalier of Flames to get a whole bunch of value. Copying Sky Turtles. You got Omnath to gain you a whole bunch of life. You got Supreme Verdict and Anger of the Gods as your sweeper options. And then Kenrith can be used to pump a whole bunch of mana into it to do a whole bunch of like crazy busted things. Sometimes you'll see temporary lockdown out of these decks to hit all the lower cost things as well. Probably a little bit weak into the Greecefang deck, to be honest. You don't have Graveyard Hate main nor instant speed removal that can really hit it. You have Leyline Binding, but Leyline Binding can't be played if they have the Fires out. You can shuffle the Sky Turtle, but you only have 2 copies. So it's a little tricky there, but you can at times outpace them in terms of the life gain. Moving to best of 3, we don't have enough data on Untapped right now for the best of 3, so we're looking at MTG Arena Zone. So we have a couple decks. Jitabo got 125 Mythic with a Rakdos Anvil kind of sacrifice deck, or sorry, not Anvil, just sacrifice. So usually you'll see sometimes, like I said, you'll have Anvil lists. This particular version is on Priest of the Forgotten Gods in the main board. Sometimes you'll see on Nyxus main. But this kind of is the core. 4 Fable, 4 Mayhem Devils. You got some claims in here. Deadly Disputes for card advantage. Priest to kind of steal, sack. So you're really trying to take advantage of all these small creatures, steal them, use them for your own benefit. And then you got Catavan Loops with Mayhem Devil. Utility lands like Hive of the Eye Tyrant, then the Bugbear, Sokosan, and Takanuma. Your sideboard, you got Obnixus for the grindier control matchups. Think like, hey, they play Farewell, so let me play Obnixus. Braids, extra removal, Artifact Hate, Infernal Grasp, Catch-All removal, Thoughtseize for combo control decks, Unlicensed for Graveyard Hate, and Meathook Massacre, kind of a sweeper with upside because it plays really nicely with your things dying and coming back from the graveyard. Then go to Rakdos Midrange. So there's a couple different versions of this deck you'll see coming around. There's kind of some flex spots, but 2 Lilies, 2 Chandras as your Planeswalkers. Actually, go this way here. Bloodtithe Harvester, kind of built around Fable the Mirror Breaker again, but Sheoldred, Kalita Split on the 4 mana slot, some Trespassers, Bone Crusher Giants as removal, Bedevil Main to deal with pretty much catch-all removal, Planeswalkers, Artifacts, or Planeswalkers. And then your pushes, your Thoughtseize, Shatter Skull, One Hearse Main, again, similar utility lands with the Castle Lockwane. Your sideboard, you got a Braid as catch-all removal for artifacts and smaller creatures. Pull against command, get to the utility, discard, reanimate, kind of, or like bring back to hand creature style effects, destroy an artifact or deal 2 damage, so flexible card there. Noxious Grasp for green or white decks, just dealing that. Kills a Teferi, kills a chunkier green creature, whatever it may be. Duress for hand hate, Necromentia to pull kind of key combo pieces. Go blank for discard and exile. Apologize for the ads. This site has got so many ads. Extinction Event for Catch-All Sweeper, Graveyard Hate, and like Anvil, Weenie style hates as well. And then lastly, Greecefang. So there's a couple of cards that could potentially see play from the newer set. There's the Bring Back from Graveyard. That gets cost reduced if it targets like 3 mana or less, I think. But this deck's been pretty stock for now. So you got Lily, kind of discard and your own stuff. The core of the deck, though, you want to get into your graveyard one of these vehicles, ideally Parhelion the third, and then with Greecefang, you can bring it back, give it haste, and attack right away. You can bring back stuff from your graveyard with like Can't Stay Awake. This version's playing Cling to Dust in the main. 5 copies of Hand Hate to kind of deal with potential removal or interaction. So you deal 13 damage with a Parhelion attack, which oftentimes puts them far enough behind that they can't win the game. More Liliana for like Hand Hate. Crawl Harpooner is really good against mono blue and like Flyers or Angels. Fatal Push, Heartless Act, Eliminate as a removal package. Terra Sunders, catch-all removal for a lot of the graveyard hate. Any of the like Unlicensed Hearse, Rest in Peace, the Weathered Runestone, any of those things that kind of hits. Duress for more hand hate. Portable Hole, again, catch-all removal that also hits a lot of this hand hate. Unlicensed Hearse for graveyard hate in the mirrors. And then Sky Sovereign is really good into the Rakdos decks. So that's pretty much it for the week. Let me know if you've been playing in Explore. If you want to see what I've been playing, anything like that. My profile is always visible. I included in the link if we're looking. I haven't been playing too much this month since the set dropped, but even with like the previous set, I have like been pretty decent. Where does it go? Like a mono black Explorer deck. Probably can play some of the new cards as well. Go for the Throats, Phyrexian Flesh Gorgers, another one, some Angels decks. This deck's been pretty fun as well. Just kind of a mid-rangey mono black shell that kind of tries to go over the top of some of the decks. Play enough removal. It's pretty bad into like control decks, 1 and 3, but it can beat up on like mono red. Is really bad against Angels. That's the only thing. If you're running into a lot of Angels, you can't. It's 2 and 7 versus Angels. Positive win rates against like all the other creature decks. But Angels gets too much value for your 1-to-1 removal. But I'll link that there if you want to check it out. It's in my profile. In any case, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great one. Stay safe out there. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.